We need to get our timings right. So, obviously, the graphic was inspired by the film Speed.
I thought it was Celebrity Coach Trip.
Well, we went lowbrow because we didn't want to infringe on any copyright. Jan de Bont would have been very proud of us at that moment.
By the way, do you know that what inspired him for Speed was because he got caught in a lift during the filming of Die Hard?
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Pop Quiz Hotshot, there's a bomb on the bus. What do you do? What do you do?
Jump off the bus.
Yeah, it's that easy. End of movie. Anyway, so this is the regular part of the show where we're going to ask one of us. This time we're going to ask Lloyd. I'll be asking the questions. We'll ask about 10 or so regular questions just to get a bit of an insight into you as a particular movie fan, movie goer, what your general thoughts are. What's the first film that you saw in the cinema?
I think it was Fox and the Hound, but I can't remember that at all because it must have only been 2. When was that? 81, 82, something like that.
Wow, that's early.
I think Mum and Dad took me to see that, but I can't remember it. First one I can remember was E.T. My dad took me, but I didn't stay. I got freaked out right at the start when you saw the little E.T. creature's fingers. You know, they were botanists, weren't they? So they were picking all the leaves and plants, and I just sprinted up the aisle, and my dad had to chase after me. And we went home, so we didn't even stay to watch the rest of the film.
Sure, he was delighted about that.
He was, and he'd paid for the tickets, and I remember we had this like program because it was a big thing. It was Spielberg's E.T., so we had a program from the movie as well that he bought at the cinema, and then we didn't even stop to watch it. But I don't know if that counts.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just tell you a brilliant story about E.T.?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. You know, like sticker books, like Panini, like football stickers and all that. It was actually, I remember distinctly, there was an E.T. sticker album, and it would have been my older brother Brian that was collecting them because we were quite young at the time. But like I remember we spent 6 months getting these, like buying these packets of stickers. There's a clue, and with a kind of squeezy kind of thing of glue, gluing them into the book. Until one day we realised you can take the backing off and stick them in.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Why didn't anyone drive you in the right direction in your house?
I was 3 at the time or 4, so I take no responsibility for this.
You must have had parental supervision to go and buy them and like watch what you were doing with them.
You've met my parents, Lloyd. So
E.T. might not count because I didn't watch it all. But then I watched Return of the Jedi, I think the following year. I can't remember too much about that.
83, is that? Yeah, I think.
Something like that. And then the one I've got a really like strong memory of is watching Ewoks Caravan of Courage.
Yeah. Give us a movie fact or Easter egg, please.
I've heard this one recently. I don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, Tom Selleck was offered the role of Indiana Jones. He turned it down. But I've heard the reason he turned it down was they wouldn't make a further season of Magnum because he'd be doing the movie, so he couldn't have done it. And he didn't want to put the Magnum crew out of work, which included sort of some Hawaiian locals as well.
That's quite cool, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, class act, isn't he? He's like just a nice thing to do. I don't know if it's true or not. Don't hold me to it, but I think I read it somewhere recently.
Whereas, interestingly, as a circle back to Die Hard, apparently Bruce Willis originally said he didn't think that he could squeeze Die Hard into his schedule because of how intense the filming was for Moonlighting. And then Sybil Shepherd became pregnant, and there's about an 11 or 12-week period that he was able to hot step it back between the two studios, and he was able to film all of the films. So he was able to carry on doing what he was doing and do a pretty cool movie. Next question, Lloyd. First movie soundtrack you ever bought?
I think it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie soundtrack with tracks. It had an MC Hammer on there. I think Vanilla Ice did one. Go Turtle, go Turtle, go. And then there was the
P-U-R-T-L-E, power.
Power. Yeah,
It wasn't as sinister as that. I don't think.
Yeah. On the half shell, they're the heroes for. In this day and age, you could ask for more. The muggins are high with the mysterious. Oh, police and detectives are furious because they can't find the source of this lethally evil force.
Okay, so that's not a bad one. Okay, so we might know the
comments
answer.
on it.
What is the first 18 certificate film, so adult or R-rated film, that you remember watching?
I think it was probably RoboCop.
Good call.
I remember the other kids we were friendly with down the road. My mum and dad socialised with their mum and dad, so we'd all go to the same house of a Saturday night, whatever. As kids would hang out in the lounge, and the mum and dads would like play Trivial Pursuit, whatever. And they got Sky really early on, so we had Sky Movies and stuff. And so we were in the front room going on for midnight on a Saturday evening when they're all playing their games. And so we watched whatever we wanted, really. I think it was, RoboCop. We watched on Sky Movies when it was just like one movie channel on Sky.
What's the first film or TV show that made you cry?
TV show was, I think this probably predates any sort of movie, was Quantum Leap, the pilot episode, where I think he jumps into the baseball player and he realizes he's in a timeline where his dad's still alive.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. I can feel myself welling up. So he rings his dad, who in Sam Beckett's real lifetime or real time zone has died a long time ago. But he gets to ring his dad on the landline and talk to him. But he's got to kind of pretend who he is because he can't be his dad's son because his dad's son's sitting at the kitchen table with his dad in the real time. So he basically just says, "Oh, I'm your nephew or whatever. I'm called Sam as well." And then, oh God, it's like so hard to talk about. It's like, and then at the end of the call, he says, "Oh, I love you," like that. And, it was just so touching. And I remember watching that sort of 13 or 14. Was that about the right time frame? We were 13, weren't we? 14, maybe.
I think so.
Maybe younger. Yeah. And you've understood about mortality at that age, haven't you? And your parents and stuff like that. It was just so heart-wrenching.
Okay, so back to sorts of usual kind of movie type questions. Who, in your opinion, has been the best James Bond?
I know growing up, it was Brosnan because GoldenEye was such a high concept Bond. It was just like so Bond, wasn't it? All these set pieces. You've got the bad guy who's also an ex-00, and the tank driving through Russia, and the bit at the beginning where he's just like trying to catch the plane and everything. It was just so crazy, and Brosnan did it so well. So I probably got to say Brosnan with my growing up self watching the Bond films. Although when I was younger, before Brosnan, it was Moore as opposed to Connery, which is a bit funny as well because you think people say Connery because he was so good, but then Moore played it tongue in cheek. There were just different movies, weren't they, with the different people? And Sean Connery, it was always a more complex storyline. So as a kid, I couldn't follow what the hell was going on. Where with Roger Moore, it was just dead simple. Yeah, and innuendo to set piece to innuendo to really cool ending. But yeah, I suppose.
Also, Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die is the best Bond movie, isn't it? So, and that's Roger Moore.
Next question is: who, in your view, is the most underrated actor, living or dead?
Anyway, Sam Worthington. I think at the moment, he's absolutely brilliant in everything he does. Even that low budget one, Rogue, in Australia with the crocodile.
So Sam Worthington's Avatar and Terminator Salvation?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen Terminator Salvation on Blu-ray for a long, long time because I owned it and I lent it to someone and I never got it back. But I think he's
I don't know who that was.
But I just think he's brilliant. And I don't know if he's just signed into the contract for these 5 Avatar movies. I believe it's either 4 or 5 they're set to make. Yeah. And he just doesn't do a lot in between. And he's absolutely, you watch him in anything, he's so engaging. He's such a really, really good actor.
Can I just ask, who needs one Avatar sequel, let alone 3, 4, 5?
Well, I think Avatar 2 is called The Seed Bearer. Avatar 3, I can't remember now, but yeah. And the whole thing...
Is the world really that desperate for Avatar sequels? I don't think we are.
Well, they had them all planned. They've just been delayed. So in Disney World, in Animal Kingdom, they've got Pandora. And the whole premise of what's going on in that land is based on Avatar 3, I think, or Avatar 2 storyline, which hasn't even been released. So they've had all these ideas to do, and they just keep on getting delayed and delayed. But anyway, Sam Worthington is my answer. Sorry.
Okay, so name a featured song or soundtrack that resonates with you. It can be one punctuated moment in a movie, or it can be the whole soundtrack.
It's Vanilla Sky, and it's Nancy Wilson, Elevator Music.
Yeah.
Just hearing that through. They play it in different ways as well. It's similar to what I was saying about Ode to Joy before. They slow it down, they speed it up, they change it. Adam, that is worth about £500-600 now.
Okay, so this, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, this was a birthday gift from the brilliant Lloyd for me some time ago. It's a
You mean that Lloyd?
This Lloyd, yeah, it's a beautiful, yeah, I see what you did there. It's a beautiful proper LP album.
Yeah, vinyl.
And yeah, it's which is the one you like? Nancy Wilson's Elevator Beat.
Elevator Beat, sorry, not Elevator Music.
It's a good song. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's evocative. It's actually a really simple piece of music as well, just played on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Do you know the only reason why I would say, and obviously you're not wrong because it's your opinion, but the only reason why I'd say it's not the best song on the album is I just can't get past how good Salisbury Hill is by Peter Gabriel every time I hear it. Okay, Lloyd, so the next question is, what is your favourite set piece in a movie?
I think it's got to be Raiders. The initial scene for that. Just a bit slow, getting to the temple and everything, and then just some lovely cinematic shots. You've got Indy doing his weighing up, like what's going to, doing how much do I need to take out my bag before I put it on for the idol. Give me the idol, give me the whip, that sort of thing. Alfred Molina before he went on and did El Cid. It's just a great one, and then just running down over that hill to Jock Lindsay's seaplane, where he comes over the hill. Jock, start the engines, and then 2 seconds later you see like 1,500 tribes people chasing after him and blow darts going everywhere, and then just swinging out into that river, swimming out to the seaplane and getting in, and then it flies off, and then there's your intro to the film.
Okay, so the next thing is, who is your movie crush?
It's sort of like evolved from one to another as I've grown up, but it was like Jennifer Connelly, and then it was Charlize Theron, and then probably Jennifer Connelly again and Charlize Theron. So they've all just like changed position all the way through. But yeah, Jennifer Connelly, Labyrinth, because I would have been 8 or 9. Is that right? 8 or 9 years old when Labyrinth came out?
I'll check.
I think it was 88.
I'll check because it's up here.
Yeah, so we were 8 or 9 then. I consider Labyrinth a Christmas movie because what you were saying about I watched it at Christmas the first time, and it was on telly at Christmas, so I've got an emotional connection with Labyrinth at Christmas, so it makes me feel Christmassy.
1986, according to this.
Right, so 7.
Yeah, it's 86. I just googled it.
Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, it was Jennifer Connelly growing up, and then Charlize Theron after I sort of hit my late teens, and then Jennifer Connelly again.
Okay, this should be a reasonably quick answer because you could spend hours discussing this. Marvel or Star Wars?
Do you know what? I don't know. It would have been Star Wars, but I think the Infinity Stone saga was so well done. There's some rubbish movies in there. Not rubbish, but that whole saga put together was brilliant. The way it's sort of segued between characters and their own movies and origin movies and everything, I thought was really well done. And I like the movie spin-offs at the moment, the TV spin-offs, sorry.
Having said that, though, if you were to include The Mandalorian in the Star Wars saga, which it should be, does that help sway it back towards Star Wars?
I do really like The Mandalorian.
Limitation.
And Cara Dune is probably Cara Dune's one of my crushes now, actually.
Next question.
I didn't choose.
You did.
Yeah. You basically did without saying Marvel. You
said Marvel.
No, because do you know what? I would have gone back to Marvel because Star Wars are just too self-indulgent. Even Mandalorian's a bit too self-indulgent. So yeah, Marvel.
Okay. Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
It's a really hard one. I feel the Stallone movies are a bit more not real, because they're not real, but they're just a bit more grounded. You know, Rambo, it was like far-fetched, but at the same time, it's a Vietnam vet who has just lost his rag with society because everything.
Can I just say for the record, and keeping with the theme of today's episode, I've not seen Rambo.
All right. Oh, First Blood, part 1 or 2.
Any of them, whichever period.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
Dave,
cool.
Dave, you should definitely watch Rambo First Blood. It's not the film you expect it to be, because all of the stuff that you've probably seen about Rambo is more to do with the second and third film, where he's taking on entire nations, and he's completely greased up, and it's all about him being muscle bound. This is actually, the first film is actually quite a clever assessment on somebody who's got PTSD, who is unable to assimilate himself back into society, and Brian Dennehy as his sort of foil, the cop who's sort of out to get him or not. It's actually a really good movie. So if you like films like Deer Hunter, even that kind of film, you'd probably actually like this more than you might think you do hearing the sort of title of Rambo. Yeah. Okay, so last question for you. Name a film you've watched without knowing anything about it. So no warning, just saw it, just put it on, go.
So when we were in Florida, we go with another family called the G's, and there was a cinema complex right next to a place called Pleasure Island, where it was all clubs and bars and stuff like that, and bands going on. So remember, Mum and Dad, and Pete and Gwyn, G, would drop us 4 kids off and just give us a load of money and say, watch 2 films back to back. Like, we weren't dead young, but, you know, it was probably 13, 14, something like that. So we can stay in the cinema safely for a few hours. And we watched Hotshots, and all I knew about it was the poster was like, just said Hotshots with wings either side of it, which now I know is what that was relating to. And it just said underneath, the mother of all movies. I mean, we went in not knowing what to expect, and it starts like Top Gun, like do-do-doom, and there's like an aircraft carrier, do-do-doom.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, you see someone chucks like a American football, someone goes to catch it, falls off the edge of the aircraft carrier. What's going on here? Next thing, the afterburner of the jet's going, and a guy's going, putting hot dogs on a fork, putting it behind the jets of the aircraft carrier. Like, what is going on here, man? And next thing, Lloyd Bridges turns up, and it's like, it's a comedy spoof. But we knew nothing about it, didn't know if it was going to be political, historical, anything, and it was a Top Gun spoof. So it's the most pleasantly surprised I've been going into a film after only seeing the poster outside, and that was it.
That's fantastic. That's the end of this segment.